Happy weekend, writers, whichever weekend day it happens to be for you. I have another hot take topic to handle, one that's been on my mind for quite some time, especially since I started joining writing groups on Facebook that I feel like I just kind of need to get out there. Not to insult anyone who is trying to be a successful author, not to dissuade any new writers from pursuing the art, but just some words to think about and maybe some words of caution. So one thing I have noticed all over writing groups in social media is posts about self-publishing. I have never self-published personally. It's something that I have thought about. I don't have anything against self-publishing because I think it can work for some people, but a lot of good self-published writers are getting a bad reputation because of the kinds of writing that self-publishing often deals with. Writing, just like any form of art, isn't easy. It takes a lot of practice, it takes a lot of patience, and it takes skill. Just because you have a story idea doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be able to put it down on paper with any success. You might get it down, doesn't mean that it's any good. And if you really want to get it good, well, then you're going to have to work at it. And you're going to have to rewrite it. And you're going to have to rewrite it again and again and again and again, however many times it takes to hone that story, to get across the messages that you were trying to get across so that it's not, completely overwhelmed by fluff. But newer writers especially make the mistake of getting so caught up in the idea and the romance of being a published author. Getting published traditionally is very difficult. I don't even know how people do it anymore. It's so difficult. So a lot of newer writers will go the route of self-publishing. Again, don't have anything against self-publishing, but when you're a newer author, you may want to take some time to hone those skills before you're putting your work out there. If you do go down the route of self-publishing as a newer author, then I would be prepared for some disappointments. You're probably not going to sell a lot. You probably don't have a lot of marketing experience going into it, unless you have that experience from, what you do for work, which is also important when you self-publish because you have to be your own marketer too. And I just see this mistake over and over and over again where writers self-publish and then they start saying, all right, where's the sales? Where's the money? Where's the success? Where's the fame? It's not that easy. It takes time. And not only does it take time, but it takes skills. If you, as the consumer, were looking for a book and you went on Amazon, that's what a lot of self-publishing authors use is Amazon, and you read a sample out of a book and you found it absolutely littered with spelling errors and grammar errors and punctuation errors and it just really didn't flow well, would you spend the money on it? Or would you say, no, thank you, and keep looking? Because that's what's happening. Writers are putting out very rough works that should have been gone through by someone with editing skills. And I realize that not everyone can afford an editor, so I'm not even saying get a official editor. Just knocked my thing over there. I'm not saying even hire one. Maybe you know someone who could be your editor because they're just very highly skilled. Maybe you know an English teacher or something that could help you out, or you know another writer who has already been doing it for a very long time. You should get somebody experienced and somebody skilled to go through that work. That's not to say that you can't do some of your own editing. You can when you go back in and do your second draft, third draft, fourth draft, however many you need. You are going to do some editing, but that doesn't mean you're going to catch everything. Even if you're pretty skilled, you're still too close to the work. You need somebody else to go through it. I think a lot of writers that self-publish are not doing that. And if they are getting editors, well, they deserve refunds if they paid for it, because so much of what I've seen online for self-published works are really bad. I hate to say it because I want to support self-publishing authors who, can't go the traditional route, but they still want to share their story with the world. And I admire that, but do yourself a favor and don't put it out when it's still so rough. You want it to be at least a little bit polished. You want it to have all of the errors out of it. You want the spelling to be correct. You want the grammar to be correct, the punctuation to be correct. You want it to flow okay. You want it to make sense. Another issue that comes up is if you're not writing in your native language, that's super difficult, and a lot of errors can get into your book that way. I don't really recommend not writing in your native language. I would recommend writing in your native language and then getting a translating service. I think that would be a better idea. But if you're really ambitious and you want to write in a language you are learning, get somebody to help. Again, not necessarily hiring someone, but getting somebody to help you with it, getting somebody to go through it and point out where the errors are, because difference of languages. I find it really sad how many times I go to somebody's link for their book because they're advertising it in a group forum, and I think, all right, let me give it a shot. Let me check out the first, however many pages I can read for free. And I go into it hopeful because I want to support these indie authors. And within a couple sentences, I'm like, oh, I can't buy this. I can't buy it because it wouldn't be right for me as a writer, trying to support other writers, trying to teach other writers how to be good writers, to buy something like that. That would be me saying, I think you did a good job, and I don't think that. I also don't want to be the person who buys something like that and then leaves a 1-star review, because I know how badly those 1 and 2-star reviews can hurt someone when they're trying to sell their work. But that brings up another issue that I see in the group forums a lot too, is why is my book only getting really crappy reviews? Why is everyone saying how bad it is? Well, look, I realize some people are just trolls and they'll just review things badly just because, and I realize that some people can never be pleased. That does happen. But if you're getting a lot of negative feedback, there's probably something to it. And it's time to look at your work again and review and see, did you do a good job editing it before you put it up for sale? I am okay with finding little errors here and there throughout the work. I think that's forgivable when you're not going through a traditional publisher, because it's just, self-publishing is a lot of work, especially if you're trying to do it on a budget. So I'm not going to condemn a writer because you missed a period here, or there was a typo on page 50 or something. But if it's just strewn throughout the entire document, you published too soon. You got trigger happy and you pulled it, and you have probably hurt yourself for future opportunities. Now, you can republish the work. You can re-release it after it's been edited and polished, and maybe you'll be able to recoup from it. But it is difficult to come back from releasing something that is just really poor quality. So do yourself a favor and get it edited, get it reviewed before you publish. Don't be the person that puts it out there all excited and then says, why am I not selling, or why am I only getting 1-star reviews, when all you did was write 2 drafts. Or you've only been writing for 2 years. That's just not long enough. This is an art that takes years and years and years and years of practice, and you always have room for growth and improvement. And I think that's another reason why I haven't self-published yet. I know I did a separate video on it, but in retrospect, I would say another reason is that I don't want to be one of those people. I don't want to be one of those writers that puts the work out there and then finds out, oof, that was a lot rougher than I thought it was. Look at all these errors I missed. Now, fortunately, I do have a sibling, the other content creator, who is a more experienced writer than me and can act as an editor for me, and has acted as editor for me. But I think I'd want to do that again before putting out my finished work. Even though I've written it, I don't know, maybe 20 times or something by now, on and off throughout half my lifespan. I've worked on that book and rewritten it and redrafted it and over and over and over again. And I still haven't released it because when that time comes to release it, I want to do it right and I want to do it justice. I want it to be solid. I want people to be able to honestly leave 5-star reviews because they thought, hey, that was really good. That person really put their heart and soul into it, really put the time and effort into it, and really cared about that work. Because when you put something out there that is littered with errors, you're basically saying you don't care enough about your work. You need to care about your work for others to care about it too. Being in the world of writers can be a little harsh, just as being in the world of musicians, being in the world of actors, the world of artists. It's rough out there. It really is. And I'm not saying don't pursue your dreams. I'm just saying pursue your dreams responsibly. Pursue your dreams by being prepared. Pursue your dreams with an understanding of what people are looking for, of basic expectations, and don't get ahead of yourself. Be patient and be kind to yourself as you are learning to write, as you are going through the drafting and editing processes. It's normal to find many opportunities for improvement. It's normal to find many errors, but that's the point. You are taking the time, you are caring enough to do that. And now your readers will be able to care about your work as well. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please give it a like. Think about subscribing if you haven't already. If you didn't find it helpful, or maybe you're just pissed off at the topic, give it a thumbs down. Let's be honest with each other, right? Until next time.